La 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 la. Adam's apple. Maximum effort.
Woo.
They're definitely going to cry.
The holder of the world record in Pro Street, the KC Turbo crew from Mesa, Arizona.
Welcome back to the KC Turbo Podcast. I'm here with Cameron, and we're going over these new turbine wheel options we're super excited for. So follow along as we go through the different options and what kind of improvements you can expect to see. So, pretty excited about tomorrow, right? This is getting released actually later tonight. It'll be on the website. You probably won't see this video right away, but we've got new turbine wheel options that we've been working on for a while.
Yeah.
So not long ago, we released what we called our Jetfire turbine wheel. For years, we used the 2003 turbine wheel or something very similar to a GT40, but we redesigned it. It's a slimmer hub, thicker blades, it's stronger, spools faster, and flows more.
Yeah.
We were super excited about that. We released it. Now, before that, I've experimented with 13 blades, with 9 blades, 10, 11, 12. We actually experimented with a lot of them, but a lot of it was based off of the early GT40 style turbine wheel or the 2003 turbine wheel. But with the ability to change the arrow of the turbine wheel, we wanted to see what else we can do. So, got a couple of different options here. Let's go over them. Here's the 9 blade, 10 blade, 11 blade, and the stock 13 blade.
So what's the deal with the 13? I mean, why was that the go-to before we, redesigned everything? What was the whole point?
So the 13 blade came in the 04.5 to 07 turbos. There was 2 different sizes. There was a 66 and a 64, but they were all 13 blades. And they spooled fast, and they were really quiet. But they're also really heavy, and they choked out on the top end. Yeah. So for years and years, a lot of people would like the 13 blade over the 10 blade because it spooled a little faster.
Yeah.
But the power would fall off hard on the top end. So we did build options, but we typically stopped at the stage 1 because you go to stage 2 with the 13 blade, it would way choke. You'd get no advantage. The bigger compressor wheel wouldn't spool any faster than a stage 1, and then the 13 blade would choke out, and there was really no advantage. So we started playing around with wheel types. So that's the 13 blade.
Right. Then we moved to the 10 blade.
The 10 blade, and people have used 10 blade for years. It came in the Power Max, the 2003 turbo. A lot of people, even us, use those for many, many years just to upgrade their turbos. You slapped a 10 blade turbine wheel in any other turbo, it would flow more. Actually, we've got Dyno crowds we'll go over in just a minute to show all that.
Yeah.
But I really want to step up and showcase the new 11 blade that we came out with. So the 11 blade is completely different. I mean, if you look at the 10 blade versus the 11 blade, or the 13 blade versus the 11 blade, they're not even close to being similar.
Not even close.
We were able to squeeze out, and this never happens, but we were able to squeeze out more power and quicker spool up out of the same turbine wheel. Usually it's a give and take. In fact, check out this dyno graph. If you look at it, the blue one is a 2003 turbo.
And that's stock 10 blades?
Stock 10 blade. It's actually an 03 2003 turbo. The red is a stock 2007 turbo. You can see the red comes off sooner, falls off sooner. The blue comes on later, makes more power.
Yep.
So, with the 11 blade, we actually were able to spool faster than a 13 blade and make more power than the 10 blade all the way up to about 32 to 3,300 RPMs. So basically from idle to 3,300 RPMs, the 11 blade outspools and makes more power than any of the other options out there.
Yeah.
Now, if you stick that in a stage 1 turbo, you see almost the same benefits, and it's incredible. So before we get to what it does in a stage 1 turbo or a bigger turbo, let's talk about the 9 blade. Now, we've tried 9 blades before, but we didn't see performance gains in spool up. Maybe a teeny bit more power, but they are laggier for sure. Anyone that tells you it's not is not tested. I've seen people online say,
oh, well, less blades means it spools faster.
okay, why not go with 0 blades? You know, 0 blades must spool really fast, right? But at a certain point, the less blades does not spool faster. In fact, I've tested it time and time again, and so have others. You can typically spool faster with more blades. It captures more of the air, but when that turbine wheel starts spinning up and flowing a lot of air, it starts to choke out. So the 9 blade spools a little slower, makes a little more power, but it's incredibly loud.
Yeah, it's deafening.
Deafening loud.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been running them and asking for them. We haven't had the option because I didn't like, especially based off the GT40 wheel, when you just subtract a blade off of it, it got pretty laggy.
Yeah.
And it was too laggy for my taste. It wasn't a turbo I wanted to offer because I didn't want all that lag. But now that we got the new Jetfire 10-blade turbine wheel design, when we tried that in a 9-blade, it's where I would drive it. And I don't like to sell stuff that I wouldn't drive.
Exactly.
So now we got the 9-blade, which screams. It's so loud. The 10-blade, which is still that famous Jetfire.
Iconic Casey whistle.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, a lot of people love that sound. And then you got the 11-blade. It's kind of quiet. It still whistles a little.
It's there. It's just not
there.
It's not loud.
It's a little louder than the 13.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But it's nowhere near the 10 or the 9-blade.
Yeah, no.
So let's look at the next dyno graph. So
Yeah.
what do these look like in an application? So let's look at the KC Stage 1. We've got 5 different dynos on here. It's going to be hard to break them down. Let's look at it and go over it a little bit.
Yeah.
So the Stage 1 11-blade made the most power and the most torque. And you can see that in pink. It comes on sooner, it goes up sooner, and it carries out longer than any of the other options, by far.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy to spool faster and flow more. Incredible. You don't get that iconic whistle, so you got to kind of choose your battle.
Yeah.
And then we got the KC 10-blade, which does spool slower than the 11, but faster than the 9. And then you got the 9-blade. You can see that one kind of spools a little later, falls off a little less on the top end. You get a little top end power gains out of it. And then for fun, we did get a rival turbo to test it, kind of baseline ours, a rival 9-blade.
Yeah.
You kind of see that there on the bottom. You see our 9-blade spools just a little faster, makes a little more power, but we weren't able to improve a lot over the competitor's 9-blade turbine wheel. The Jetfire, you do notice a difference. It is measurable, so there are big advantages there.
All right, so these all sound great, but when are we going to be able to buy them?
All right, starting tonight, which this video is being filmed ahead of time, you will be able to buy them in the Stage 1 and Stage 2 turbos. Now, the 9, 10, and 11 are available in the Stage 1. For the Stage 2, only the 9 and 10. The 11 does become a choke point, so we don't want to run it on the Stage 2. Also, we found if it spooled too fast, you could run into turbo surge with that larger compressor wheel.
Right.
So, 9, 10, and 11, and 13 if you still want it. On the Stage 1. Stage 2, you'll have the 9 and 10. You'll have the Stage 2R with the 9-blade.
Yeah, dual ball bearing.
The Stage 3R, we're still working on that, hoping to have that 9-blade here soon. As soon as we get caught up on orders and the huge influx that we plan to see, we are going to offer these in DIY kits. They're not available now, but we will offer to sell these each individually. You can buy just an 11-blade, balance assembly, DIY kit, same thing with the 9, and same thing with the 10. So this is going to be huge. A lot of options for guys. Pick your battle. You want sound, 9-blade. Middle of the road, 10-blade. You want the most performance, the better, spool up, but don't care much about the sound, the 11-blade is the wheel that you want to go with.
Yeah. So these things are great, but are we going to see these in any other trucks?
Yeah, actually, we're developing it for the 6.7. We got our new 2020 turbos coming out. We're going to have some options in that. We get lost a lot about 7.3. Now, you don't get the same sound out of a 7.3 because it's not just the number of blades, it's also the VGT. But we do have a new 9-blade Stage 3 69mm turbo coming out. It'll be released next year, but it's going to be a killer turbo. So, yeah, we are using this technology to develop other options. We kind of baseline things on the 6.0 often, or sometimes the 6.7 and come back, but these were developed on the 6.0, and we plan to use this technology for all of our other turbo options.
So 9-blade, they spool a bit slower on the 6.0s, and you're going to a huge 69. Is that going to be super laggy on a 7.3?
When we're going over the new turbo options for the 7.3, which we spent years in development, we tried a lot of different turbine wheel options, not just number of blades, but styles, profiles, Borg style, precision style, Garrett, Jetfire. We mix a lot with them. And what we found is, like the 6.0, the 9-blade spooled slower and flowed more on the top end. So we were going to go with an 80 by 73 turbine wheel for the Stage 3, but an 80 by 73 and a 9-blade, it was actually incredibly laggy. It did make a little more top end power, but it got to be where it was too laggy for me. So we dropped down a few millimeters, kept the 9-blade, and it flowed more. and then spooled a little faster than the same size in a 10 blade. And it's based off like the G series, the G trim on the new Garrett turbos. So it's an incredible turbine wheel, super efficient and flows really well. So we're super excited about that. It's kind of a teaser. We don't have any videos of that going yet, but it's going to be big for the 7.3 guys. We're hoping, when we started with 23880s testing it, and they were too small. Yeah. We went to the track and it just cleaned up to nothing going down the track. It looked like a stock truck at the end of the track. So we're going to jump up to maybe some 250 100s, 250 200s, maybe 300 200s. Really hoping to get into that 200% nozzle range for those 7.3 guys.
Right. Man, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Maybe get close to the 600 horsepower range. And when we were testing it, we were getting in the 550 to 570. If we could break 600 horsepower on a drop-in, it would be incredible. Yeah. So that's the goal.
All right, guys. So remember, like, comment, subscribe. Check out these brand new turbine wheel options at kcturbos.com. And if you have any questions on these new products, drop it in the comments below. We'll be happy to take care of you.